I should have turned back when the mare's ears went flat. Should have listened when the desert went quiet. Should have remembered that silence in Apache country means you're being watched. But I didn't. And that's how I ended up sitting across from Nantan Takan, leader of the last free Apache band in this part of Arizona, being offered something no sane man would accept. The November sun was already low when it happened. Long shadows stretched across my ranch like dark fingers, reaching for something they'd never hold. I was checking the fence line near the southern border when I saw her. A paint mare, beautiful animal, wild, free. She'd somehow slipped through a gap in my corral I hadn't noticed. I grabbed my rope and swung into the saddle. My gelding, a steady buckskin named River, knew the drill. We'd chased runaways before. This should have been simple. Follow the mare, corner her near the creek, lead her home, except she didn't go toward the creek. She ran south, straight toward the boundary I rarely crossed. The land changed there, subtle at first. The scrub got denser. The rocks took on different colors, red clay mixed with white sand, and somewhere in that transition, my property ended and Apache territory began. I should have stopped, but that mare represented 3 months of feed costs. Training time, money I couldn't afford to lose, so I kept going, just a little further, just until I could get a rope on her. That's when the bird stopped singing. River felt it before I did. His ears swiveled. Every muscle in his body went tense. I pulled up, scanned the landscape, saw nothing but rocks and sage in the endless Arizona sky. Then I saw them. They didn't rush in, didn't shout. They simply appeared, like the land itself had grown warriors. 12 men on horseback, surrounding me in a loose, each one armed, each one watching with the kind of stillness that comes from absolute confidence. The man in front sat on a gray horse with white markings. He was maybe 50, weathered face, eyes that missed nothing. He wore traditional clothing mixed with practical pieces, a cotton shirt, leather vest. His hair was long, streaked with silver. He said something in Apache. I didn't understand the words, but I understood the tone. You don't belong here. I raised my hand slowly, showed I wasn't reaching for my gun, not that it would have helped. 12 against 1 aren't odds. They're a decision already made. One of the younger men rode forward, maybe 30, broader than the others. Anger tight in his jaw. He grabbed River's reins, took my rifle from the saddle scabbard, searched my belt. Found my knife, took that too. The older man spoke again, this time in English. You crossed the boundary. His voice was quiet, but it carried weight, the kind of authority that doesn't need volume. I was chasing a horse, I said, kept my tone even. Respectful. She broke through my fence. I didn't mean to trespass. The mare was born on this land. He gestured toward the paint. She was standing about 50 yards away. Calm now. Like she knew she was home. That makes her ours. I wanted to argue, wanted to explain that I'd seen that mare in the wild horse population near my ranch for 2 years, that I'd spent weeks earning her trust, getting her into my corral, starting her training. But none of that mattered. I was on their land. Their rules applied. I understand, I said. The older man studied me, long enough that the silence became heavy. Then he nodded once. You will come with us. It wasn't a request. They took me deeper into their territory. The landscape got rougher, more isolated. Finally, we came over a ridge and I saw it. The camp. We came over a ridge and I saw it. The camp. It was smaller, 20 dwellings. Traditional brush structures mixed with a few canvas teepees. Cooking fires sent thin smoke into the evening air. Women were working, preparing food, tanning hides. Children played near the creek. Older men sat in groups, talking quietly. Normal life, human life, not the savage raiders the newspapers love to describe. We rode into the center of camp. People stopped what they were doing, watched. Their faces showed curiosity, suspicion, but not hatred, just weariness, the same look you'd give any stranger. They brought me to the largest fire. The man on the gray horse dismounted, gestured for me to do the same. I climbed down. My legs were stiff from the ride. The young man who'd taken my weapons stayed close, hand on his knife, making sure I understood the situation. The older man sat, indicated I should do the same. We faced each other across the fire, close enough to talk, far enough to maintain distance. My name is Takan, he said. I lead this band. Samuel Fletcher. I kept my hands visible on my knees. I own the Double F Ranch, about 15 miles north, I know, 2 words. But they changed everything. They'd been watching me, probably for months. Knew my property, my routines, my name. This wasn't a chance encounter. This was something else. An older woman approached. She carried a clay pot and 2 cups, poured something that steamed in the cooling air, handed 1 cup to Takan, 1 to me, then left without a word. Takan drank first. Showing it wasn't poisoned, I followed. The liquid was bitter, some kind of herb tea, but not unpleasant, just strong. Normally, Takan said, when white men cross into our land, we take their horses, send them walking. It teaches respect for boundaries. I nodded. Fair consequence. But you're different. How? You trade with our people. When we bring hides to town, horses to sell, you give fair price, don't you? Don't call us thieves or savages. That's just basic decency is rare. He set down his cup. The firelight caught his face. I could see the lines there. Years of hard living, hard choices, but also wisdom. The kind you only get from surviving things that should have broken you. 3 years ago, he said, you lost your family. My chest tightened. House fire. Your wife, Anna. Your daughter, Emma. 5 years old. How did he know that? We watch. We listen. We know things about the people around us. It's how we survive, letting that sink in. My daughter was in a fire, too. Before I could respond, movement at the edge of the firelight drew my attention. A woman approached. She wore traditional Apache dress, beautifully made, intricate beadwork across the shoulders, long fringe that swayed as she walked. But what caught my eye was the white cloth. It covered her head and face bowl visible. She moved with quiet dignity, stopped beside Takan, didn't sit, just stood there, silent. This is Nalin, Takan said, my daughter. I stood, seemed the right thing to do. Ma'am. She didn't respond, but her eyes met mine, dark, direct, holding my gaze without wavering. There was something in that look. Not fear, not shyness. So, something harder to name, like she was measuring me, deciding if I was worth the trouble of this moment. 2 years ago, Takan continued, raiders came at night, set fires, chaos. Nalin heard children screaming in one of the burning structures. She ran inside, brought out 3 of them. Pride filled his voice, but underneath it something else, grief. The smoke marked her. Marked, not scarred. A more careful word, more respectful. Since then, no man from our band will court her. They say she carries bad fortune, that fire follows her. That's superstition, I said. The words came out before I could stop them. Takan's eyes flickered. Then he smiled. Just slightly. Yes, but superstition feeds as surely as bread. And once people believe something, truth doesn't matter much. He looked up at his daughter. She still hadn't moved. I'm dying, Mr. Fletcher. The bluntness hit hard. 6 woman says 6 moons. Maybe less, if I'm unlucky. He said it without self-pity, just fact. When I die, this band fractures. We're already small. Without leadership, without unity, we scatter. The government takes what little land we have left. Corrigan Land Company takes our water rights. My people end up on reservations, or worse. Understanding started to dawn. Unless my daughter has a husband, there it was. A white husband, with legal claim to land that border's ours. Someone who can navigate both worlds, protect what we've built here. He let that settle. If Nalin marries you, your ranch becomes a bridge. Our water rights gain protection through family connection. Your land value increases. You get access to grazing areas we don't use. Trade opportunities. Everyone benefits, except your daughter. The words came out sharper than I meant. Nalin's flickered reaction I'd seen. She gets security, Takan said. A home, protection when I can no longer provide it. She gets a stranger. She gets a... Takan stood. Slowly, like his bones hurt. You both do. He gestured to his daughter. She sat, graceful, silent. The white cloth barely moved. Talk, Takan said to me. Decide together. If either of you says no, you walk away. No harm. You keep your horse. No penalty for trespassing. That simple. He started to leave, then stopped. One thing, Fletcher. She doesn't remove her face covering until you agree. Old custom. If you want to see who you're marrying, you commit first. And if I say no after seeing her, Then you prove every man who rejected her was right. And you live with that. With that, he walked into the darkness beyond the firelight. The younger man who'd taken my weapons followed. Others drifted away, giving us space. But not privacy. I could feel eyes watching from the shadows. This was a small community. Everyone had a stake in what happened next. I sat back down. The fire crackled between us. Nalin remained standing for a moment. Then she lowered herself to the ground, cross-legged. Hands folded in her lap, the picture of composure, but I noticed her fingers. They were moving. Nervously, she wasn't as calm as she appeared. Silence stretched. A full minute, maybe more. Finally, she spoke. "You can leave." Her voice was softer than I expected, accented, but clear English. "No one will stop you. My father gave his word. My father gave his word. He said we should talk. There's nothing to say." I disagree. She tilted her head slightly. "You want to tell me you're not interested? I already know." The bitterness in those words was like acid. "You're not goods," I said. "No." "Then what am I?" Honest question. Deserved an honest answer. A person in a difficult situation. Same as me. You're not in a difficult situation. You can walk away. Go back to your ranch. Your life. Forget this happened. So can you? No. Her voice went firm. "I cannot." "Why not?" Long pause. "Because if I don't do this, I prove them right. That I'm useless. That the fire ruined me. That I'm nothing but a burden my father must carry until he dies." She looked down at her hands. "I need to matter again." The rawness of that hit me hard. I understood. God help me, I understood. 3 years ago, I said quietly, I stopped mattering too. She looked up. When Anna and Emma died, everyone treated me like I was broken, fragile, something to be pitied. They'd whisper when poor Samuel lost his family. Such a tragedy. I poked at the fire with a stick someone had left nearby. After a while, I started believing it, that I was broken, that the best parts of me died in that fire with them. Do you still believe that? Did I? Silence. Dace. But different this time. Less hostile. More like two people sitting in shared understanding. We're quite a pair, she said. There was almost a smile in her voice. Both broken, both desperate, both pretending we have choices we don't really have. Maybe we do have choices. You believe that? I'm trying to. She shifted slightly. The beadwork on her dress caught the firelight. Beautiful craftsmanship. Someone had spent hours on that. Probably her or her mother. If her mother was still alive. Didn't know anything about her except what Takon had told me. Why haven't you remarried? She asked. 3 years is a long time. Haven't met anyone I didn't want to run from. And me? I considered that. Don't know yet. Can't see your face with that change things. Might, for better or worse. Don't know that either. She laughed. Short, sharp. Like the sound surprised her as much as it important. It is. She stood, smoothly. I did too. Manners ingrained from childhood. I'll give you until morning, she said. Think about it. Decide then. What about you? When do you decide? I already decided. That stopped me. When? When my father first suggested this. Weeks ago. And she started walking away. Then stopped, looked back. Those dark eyes found mine again. I said yes. Why? Because I'm tired of being alone. Simple as that. She disappeared into the darkness, leaving me with the fire, and a question that felt too big for one night. They gave me a place to sleep, a small brush shelter near the edge of camp, far enough for close enough to watch. A young warrior stood guard outside, not threatening, just there, making sure I didn't try to leave in the night. Or maybe making sure no one bothered me. Hard to tell. I lay on a woven mat, stared at the stars through gaps in the brush roof. Sleep felt impossible. My mind was racing, turning over everything that had happened, everything Takon had said, everything Nalin hadn't said. Marry a woman I'd never seen, join my life to hers, become part of this community. It was insane. But what was waiting for me back at the ranch? Empty rooms, silent meals, the same routine day after day, working, existing, not living. Maria had said that to me once. You're not living, Samuel. You're just avoiding dying. Maybe she was right. Movement outside caught my attention. Footsteps. Light. Deliberate. The guard said something in Apache. A woman's voice answered. I recognized it. Nalin. She stopped just outside the shelter. I could see her silhouette against the stars. "Are you awake?" she asked softly. "Yes, may I come in?" "It's your camp. It's your shelter tonight." "Fair point. Yes. Come in." She ducked through the low opening, sat near the entrance, far enough to maintain propriety, close enough to talk without raising our voices. The veil was still in place. I could barely see her in the darkness. "I couldn't sleep," she said. "Me neither. I keep thinking about what you said, about being broken." She was quiet for a moment. "The fire happened during a raid. They came at night, set tippahs burning, created panic. In the chaos, 3 children got trapped. The youngest was only 4 years old. Her voice was steady, but I could hear the effort it took. I got them out, all 3. But the smoke was so thick, black, choking. By the time we were clear, the little one wasn't breathing. I tried everything, pressed on his chest the medicine woman taught me, breathed into his mouth. Nothing worked." She paused. "He died in my arms, outside the fire, safe from the flames, but dead anyway. Jesus, his mother never forgave me, said I should have gotten him out first, that I chose wrong. Saved the older children who could have survived on their own. That's not fair. Fair doesn't matter. Her son died. I lived. That's what people remember." She shifted slightly. "After that, everything changed. Men who had courted me before suddenly stopped. Families who had welcomed me turned cold. Not cruel, just distant. Like I carried something contagious. And the covering? My choice. After a few months of people staring, whispering, looking away when I caught them, I decided to make it easier. Cover what they didn't want to see. What happened to your face? Burning timber fell, caught my cheek and temple, left a mark, thick, raised, red. She said it clinically, like describing someone else. That's why they call you marked. That's the polite word. The real words are uglier. I sat up, leaned against the shelter wall. My daughter died because I was gone, I said. I was delivering horses to a buyer 2 towns over. Good money. Anna wanted me to stay, said we could make do without the sale, but I went anyway. The words came easier in the darkness. When I got back, the house was ash. Maria found me standing in the ruins. Just standing there. Staring. She's the one who told me. Anna and Emma were inside. Neighbors tried to get them out. Couldn't. My throat was tight. Afterwards, people said it was an accident. Lamp tipped over. Curtains caught. These things happen, but I know the truth. If I'd been there, I would have smelled the smoke earlier, would have gotten them out. You don't know that. I do. Silence settled between us again. We're both survivors, Nalin said finally. Living with people who died, carrying guilt that won't let go. Yes, maybe that's why my father chose you. Maybe he saw something. Recognized something, or maybe he just needed a white man with land. Maybe both. She stood. I should go. Let you sleep, Nalin. She paused at the entrance. Yes, if we do this, I need to know something. What? Do you hate me already for being the solution to your problem? Long pause. No, I don't hate you. I don't know you well enough to hate you fair, but I'm afraid of you. That surprised me. Why? Because you have the power to make this worse. To marry me out of obligation, to treat me like a burden you're stuck with. To make every day a reminder that no one chose me because they wanted to. Her voice cracked slightly. I've lived 2 years being unwanted. I don't know if I can survive a lifetime of it. Before I could respond, she was gone. I lay back down. But sleep still wouldn't come. Just her words, circling. Mixing with my own doubts, my own fears. Morning came too fast, and not fast enough. The camp was already awake when I emerged from the shelter. Cooking fires were lit. People were moving with the steady rhythm of routine. Children played, women worked, men checked weapons and horses. Normal life continuing despite the stranger in their midst. Maria found me first. I don't know how she got there. But Maria had a way of appearing exactly when needed. She handed me a tin cup. Coffee, real coffee. Steam rising in the cool morning air. She touched the silver necklace at her throat, her mother's. The only thing of value she owned. The only piece of her past she'd kept. You look terrible, she said. Thanks. Didn't sleep? Not much. She studied my face. Maria had known me for 15 years. Worked at the ranch since before Anna. She read people the way some read books. You're going to say yes. Not a question. A statement. How do you know? Because you're still here. If you were going to run, you'd have done it last night. She sipped her own coffee. Where she got a second cup, I had no idea. It's crazy, I said. Sigh, I don't even know her. You didn't know Anna before you married her either. That was different. We courted. Spent time together for 3 months. Then you married her because her father didn't approve and you both wanted to prove him wrong. Fair point. This is still different. Is it? Maria set down her cup. Looked at me with those eyes that had seen too much. Lived too much. Mijo, you've been half dead for 3 years. Walking, working, existing, not living. I've watched you fade, bit by bit, until there's almost nothing left. And you think marrying a stranger fixes that? No. But maybe trying to connect with someone, anyone, is the first step to living again. Movement across the camp caught my attention. Nalin, still covered, walking toward the creek with a water vessel. Her brother, the angry young man from yesterday, followed at a distance. Protective, watchful. She's afraid, too, Maria said quietly. I talked to some of the women this morning. They told me things. About the fire, about what happened after, about how alone she is. That doesn't make this less crazy. No, but it makes it human. Maria squeezed my shoulder, then left, leaving me with my coffee. And my thoughts. I walked to the main fire. Takan was there, sitting, waiting, the same spot as last night, patient, like he had all the time in the world. Even though we both knew he didn't. I sat across from him. Did you sleep? He asked. No. Good. Sleep makes decisions easy. Insomnia makes them honest. He poured more of the bitter tea, handed me a cup. Nalin is by the creek. When you're ready, go to her. Tell her your trip. Whatever it is, I'll honor it. Then you're right home. We part as friends. Nines. No hard feeling. You mean that? I do. He drank his tea, calm. Certain. But I hope you say yes. Why? Because you need the alliance. Because you both need someone who understands what it means to survive something that should have killed you. He set down his cup. That kind of understanding is rare, worth more than land, or water rights, or political safety. I finished my tea, stood. My legs felt shaky. Whether from nerves or lack of sleep, I couldn't tell. We're by the creek. Follow the path east. You'll find her. I walked. Each step felt heavier than the last. Down a gentle slope. I heard the water before I saw it. A small stream, maybe 10 feet across, clear, cold, running over smooth stones. Nalin for spoons. Nalin was kneeling at the edger, the water vessel beside her, just sitting there, hands in her lap, staring at the flowing water. I stopped a few feet away. Your father said I'd find you here. She didn't turn. Did you decide yes? Now she looked at me, those dark eyes, searching, and this was it, the moment. Once I said the words, everything changed. No taking them back, no pretending this was temporary insanity, but looking at her, sitting by that creek, alone, waiting for someone to choose her or reject her. Again, I thought about Maria's words, about living versus existing, about connection versus safety, about taking a risk versus dying slowly in an empty house. Yes, I said, I'll marry you. For a long moment, she didn't move, didn't speak, just stared at me like she wasn't sure she'd heard correctly. Then she stood. The white covering moved with the morning breeze. You're sure? No, but I'm saying yes anyway. Why? Because you asked if I'd hate you for being the solution to your problem. But I realized something last night. You're not the solution to my problem. You're another person with the same problem I have. I took a breath. Maybe we can't fix each other, but maybe we can stop being alone while we figure out how to live with what we've lost. She was quiet for so long I thought I'd said something wrong. Then her shoulders shook, just slightly. It took me a moment to realize she was crying, silent tears. The kind that come from relief. Not sadness. Thank you, she whispered. Don't thank me yet. I don't know what I'm doing. Good. Her voice was thick with emotion. Neither do I. She stepped closer, close enough that I could see the subtle movement of the fabric as she breathed. There's one more thing before we go back. What? Slowly, she reached up, grasped the edge of the white covering, and pulled it away. The scar ran from her left temple down to her jaw. Thick, it pulled slightly at the corner of her eye. It pulled slightly, the line of her cheek. A permanent mark, impossible to miss. But that's not what I saw. I saw high cheekbones, full lips, a strong depth, intelligence, pain, hope, fear, all mixed together. Her hair was dark, long, pulled back. A few strands had escaped. Catching the morning light, she was beautiful. Not despite the scar, just beautiful. Scar was part of her, like my grief was part of me. Something that had shaped her, changed her, but hadn't destroyed her. Well? She asked, voice tight, braced for rejection. I reached out, stopped, asked with my eyes. She nodded, barely. I touched the scar, gently, traced the line from temple to jaw. The skin was rough, raised, still sensitive. She flinched slightly, but didn't pull away. This is what you got pulling children from fire, I said. Yes, it's proof you're brave, not cursed. Her eyes filled with fresh tears. No one's ever said that. Then everyone else is a fool. I lowered my hand. I don't know if this will work, Nalin. I don't know if I'm capable of being a good husband, or if you're ready to trust someone again, but I'm willing to try if you are. She smiled. Small, tentative, but real. Then we have an agreement, side by side, her face uncovered, so my choice made. When we entered the clearing, every eye turned to us. Conversation stopped. Work paused. The entire camp held its breath. Takan stood, saw us together, saw his daughter's face visible, saw my hand close to hers, almost touching. Not quite. Relief washed over his features. He raised his voice. Spoke in Apache, long sentences, formal tone. I didn't understand the words, but I understood the meaning. Announcement, celebration, acceptance. People started smiling. A few women came forward, embraced Nalin, spoke quickly, happily. Her brother Yokai approached more slowly, studied me with those hard eyes, then offered his hand. I took it. His grip was firm, testing. I matched it. You hurt her, he said quietly. And I'll kill understood. He nodded, stepped back, not friendship. But not hostility either. Truce. Maria appeared at my elbow, grinning wide. Told you, she said. Don't start. Too late. The rest of the morning passed in a blur. They explained the ceremony would happen that evening. Simple ritual. Apache customs mixed with practical necessity. Takan was dying. Time was short. They gave me clean clothes. Traditional shirt, woven belt, nothing fancy, just appropriate, respectful. Maria helped me change, fussing over details that didn't matter, trying not to cry, failing. Anna would have liked her, Maria said suddenly. That hit me hard. I hadn't let myself think about that. You think? See, Anna always said you needed someone who challenged you, who didn't let you hide. Nalin barely knows me. Give her time. She'll figure out how to challenge you. Maria fixed my collar. Step back. You look good, Majo. Like you're waking up. Maybe I was. Evening came. They built up the central fire. People gathered. Not a huge crowd. This was a small band. Maybe 40 people total. Small train. But everyone claims Nuri came. This wasn't just a marriage. It was a political act. A bridge being built. A future being secured. Nalin emerged from one of the larger structures. She wore a different dress. This one was stunning. White leather, elaborate beadwork. Fringe that swayed as I walked. Her hair was loose, flowing down her back. The scar was visible. She wasn't hiding anymore. We stood before Takan, the fire between us and him, warm on our faces. He spoke, in Apache first, then English. For my benefit, marriage is covenant, not just between man and woman, between families, between peoples. You vow to protect each other, to honor each other, to build something stronger than either of you alone. He looked at me. Samuel Fletcher, do you take Nalin as your wife? To protect her, to honor her as long as you both live. My mouth was dry. I do. He turned to Nalin. Nalin, daughter, do you take Samuel as your husband? To stand with him? To teach him? To honor him as long as you both live? She met my eyes. I do. Takan took a woven cord, wrapped it around our joined hands, tied it loosely. Symbolic, not binding. We could pull free if we chose, but choosing not to pull free was the point. You are bound, he said, by choice, by honor, by hope. He stepped back. The camp erupted in voices. Celebrating, people came forward, offered blessings, gifts, small things, a knife, a blanket, dried meat, practical items for a new household. Just like that, I was married to a woman I'd known for less than a day. In a ceremony I barely understood. In a language I couldn't speak, it should have felt wrong. But standing there, Nalin's hand in mine, the cord loose around our wrists, the firelight warm on our faces. It felt like the first right thing I'd done in 3 years. The ceremony ended as the stars filled the sky. People drifted away to their own fires, their own family, leaving us standing there, married, uncertain what came next. Takan approached, untied the cord from our wrists, coiled it carefully, handed it to Nalin. "This is yours now," he said. "Keep it. Remember the choice you both made." She took it, folded it against her chest. "There's a shelter prepared," Takan continued, "on the eastern edge of camp, private, yours for tonight." He looked at me. "Tomorrow the real work begins, but tonight, rest. Talk, learn each other." With that, he left. Nalin and I stood in awkward silence. The fire was dying down, ember and cold, the night air in Arizona. Warm days, frigid nights. "I should show you the shelter," she said finally. "All right." We walked through camp. People called out blessings as we passed. Good wishes in Apache and broken English. Nalin acknowledged each one, gracious, composed. Like she hadn't just married a complete stranger. The shelter was small, dome-shaped, made of bent branches, covered with canvas and hides. A fire pit outside, bedding inside. Simple, practical, temporary. "They built this today," Nalin explained, "after you agreed. Eventually, if you stay, we'd build something more permanent." If I stay, the uncertainty in those words hung between us. "I'll get the fire going," I said. "I'll get water." We separated, both grateful for tasks. "Something to with our hands," I said, "our nervous energy." When she returned, I had a small fire burning. Sat across from me, the flames between us, just like last night. But everything was different now. "Are you hungry? Nervous?" "Terrified." She smiled. Small, genuine, me too. We sat in silence, watching the fire. The sounds of the camp settling for the night surrounded us. It's a baby crying, someone singing, normal life, continuing despite our uncertainty. "Can I ask you something?" I said. "Yes. What happens tomorrow?" Takan said the real work begins. "What does that mean?" She poked at the fire with a stick. "It means my brother will test you. You okay?" "Yes. He doesn't trust easily, especially white men. He'll want to see if you can survive here, if you can learn our ways, if you're worthy of being part of this family, and if I fail, then you prove him right, that this was a mistake." She said it matter of fact. "No sugar coating. What kind of test? Survival. He'll take you into the desert, leave you with minimal supplies. You'll need to find your way back. Prove you can read the land. Endure hardship. Think like Apache, not like rancher. How long? 2 days. Maybe 3. Depends on how well you do. I absorbed that. 2 days alone in unfamiliar territory, with someone who already distrusted me, who'd be looking for reasons to reject me. When? Dawn. Less than 8 hours. Your brother really doesn't waste time. He's afraid. That surprised me." "Of what?" Nalin was quiet for a long moment, choosing words carefully. During the fire, when I went in, Yokai tried to stop me, said it was too dangerous. I broke free. It was too dangerous. She stared into the flames. When the timber collapsed on me, he was the one who pulled me out. Burned his own hands doing it. But I was already marked. Already changed. He blames himself. Yes. He thinks if he'd let me go in sooner, I could have gotten everyone out faster. Maybe avoided the worst of the smoke. Maybe the boy would have lived. That's not logical. Grief rarely is. She looked up at me. So now he's protective, aggressive about it. Anyone who gets close to me, he sees as potential threat. Another person who might hurt me, and I'm the biggest threat of all. You're a stranger, a white man, someone who agreed to marry me for political reasons. In his mind, you're exactly the kind of person who'll use me and discard me. Fair assessment, honestly. How do I prove him wrong, survive his test? Show respect, learn, don't try to prove you're better than us. Prove you're willing to become part of us. She stood, brushed off her dress. "I should let you sleep. You'll need rest. Where will you sleep?" "Here, in the shelter. It's our dwelling now." "Right, married." "We were married." "There's only one bed. I can sleep by the fire." "No, you take the bed. I'll take the fire." She studied those dark eyes, searching my face. "You don't have to do that." "I know, but I'm doing it anyway." Something shifted in her expression, softening. "Thank you." She ducked into the shelter. I heard her moving around, settling, then quiet. I sat by the fire, added more wood. The flames grew, pushing back the cold. The dark. I pulled my coat tighter, stared up at the stars. They looked different here. Brighter, maybe I was just paying attention for the first time in years. Sleep came in fragments. I'd doze, wake, add wood, doze again. At some point, deep in the night, I heard movement inside the shelter. Nalin emerged, carrying a blanket. "You're freezing," she said. "I'm fine. You're shaking." She draped the blanket over my shoulders, sat beside me. Close enough to share warmth, not touching, but near. "If you get sick, you can't do the test," she said. "Then yokai wins by default, practical, always." We sat in silence. The blanket helped, so did her proximity. Heat radiates, even from someone you barely know. "Tell me about your ranch," she said quietly. "What do you want to know?" "Everything. What it looks like, what you do there, why you love it." I thought about that. It's not fancy. About 500 acres, half of it's good grazing, the rest focus on horses mainly. Breaking wild ones. Training them for work. Some cattle. Enough to get by. Do you love it? Did I? I used to. When Anna was alive, it felt like we were building something. A future. A legacy for Emma. My throat tightened. After they died, it just became work. Something to fill the hours. Keep my hands busy so my mind couldn't wander. And now it's just a place, empty rooms, silent meals. Maria tries, but she can't fill the space they left. Nalin nodded slowly. I understand that. After the fire, this camp became different for me. Same place, but everything felt hollow, like I was watching life happen instead of living it. Does it still feel that way? Sometimes less today than yesterday, because of this us? Because someone finally chose me, even if it's complicated, even if it's political. Someone said yes. She looked at me. That matters more than you know. We talked until the sky started to lighten, not about heavy things, just small details. Her favorite season, my worst horse training disaster, the time she accidentally dyed her hands blue with berry, the way I could never make decent coffee no matter how hard I tried, getting to know each other, the way people should before they marry. But we were doing it backwards, marriage first, courtship after. When the sun touched the horizon, Yokai appeared. He didn't greet us, just stood there, arms crossed, face hard. "It's time," he said. I stood, my body was stiff from sitting all night. Nalin stood too. There was worry in her eyes. But she didn't argue. Didn't try to stop this. Nothing, that's the point. Yokai turned to Nalin. "If he fails, this ends. You understand that?" "I understand you're afraid," she said quietly. "But this isn't fair to him or to me. Life isn't fair. Then stop pretending this is about fairness. It's about control." Yokai's jaw tightened, but he didn't argue, just jerked his head at me. "Come." I looked at Nalin. She stepped close, put her hand on my arm. "Don't try to impress him," she said. "Just survive. That's all he really needs to see. Any other advice? The desert teaches if you listen." Cryptic, but I nodded. Yokai led me to where 3 horses waited. His, mine from yesterday river, and a third. 2 other warriors joined us, silent, watchful. We rode south, away from camp, into rougher country. The land changed gradually. More rock, less vegetation. The ground went from brown to red, almost white in places. Chalk and limestone mixing with volcanic stone, beautiful, harsh, unforgiving. We rode for maybe 2 hours. The sun climbed, heat built. No one spoke. Just the sound of hooves, leather creaking, wind across stone. Finally, Yokai stopped. We were in a canyon, red walls rising on both sides, a dry creek bed cutting through the middle. No water, no shade, no obvious landmarks. "Here," Yokai said. The others did too. One of them took River's reins. They went through markets, found a small knife I'd forgotten about. Took it. Left me with nothing but the clothes I wore. 2 days, Yokai said. "Find your way back to camp. That's it. Just walk back if you can." He pointed north. "Camp is that direction, about 15 miles. But you can't go straight. There's a canyon system. You'll need to navigate around, find water, shelter, food if you get hungry enough. And if I don't make it, then the desert keeps you." He mounted his horse. "One more thing. Nalin told you the desert teaches. She's right. But it only teaches those willing to listen. White men usually aren't." With that, they rode off. Not back north toward camp, a different direction. Southwest, leaving me alone, disoriented, already thirsty. I stood there for a moment, processing. This was real. They'd actually left me. The sun was already hot. My mouth was dry. I had no water, no food, no weapon, no map, just the land and whatever I could figure out. First thing, get out of direct sun. I looked around. The canyon walls offered some shade. I moved to the eastern wall, sat, let my eyes adjust, started thinking like I used to before the ranch, when I worked wagon trains, scouting, navigating, water first, always water. I studied the canyon floor, but water had flowed here recently. I could see the marks, smooth stones, debris caught in crevices. This was a drainage. When rain came, it funneled through here. That meant somewhere upstream. There might be pools, caught water. Maybe I started walking, following the canyon north, the direction yokai had pointed. Might as well make progress while searching. The morning pie shirt was soaked with sweat, lips starting to crack. I found nothing. No water, no pools, just dry stone and sand. By midday, I was struggling. The heaper shadow. I found a dipper ship. Sat, closed my eyes, tried to think. What would Anna say? She'd grown up in Texas, dry country. She knew heat. Move in the evening. Don't fight the sun. You'll lose. I waited, uncomfortable, hot, but alive. As the sun started its descent, I moved again. The canyon was twisting, turning, but the walls forced detours. East, west, back, south sometimes. Disorientation crept in. Was I making progress or walking in circles? Then I saw it. A bird, small, brown, diving into a crevice in the canyon wall, disappearing, emerging, diving again. Birds need water. I climbed. The wall wasn't vertical here. More like a steep slope, loose rock, careful crevice, peered inside. A pool, maybe 2 gallons, caught in a depression in the rock from some previous rain. How long ago I couldn't tell. I cupped my hands, brought water to my lips. It was warm, tasted like stone. I drank. Not too much, didn't want to make myself sick, but enough to ease the desperation. Then I sat back. Thought about this. Yokai had said the desert teaches. Maybe this was lesson 1. Pay attention. Look for signs. Birds, insects, plants. They all point to resources. As evening approached, I kept moving. The canyon eventually opened into a wider, I could see distant mountains, the land spreading out, too much space, too many directions. I stopped, turned slowly, looking for anything familiar, any landmark. Nothing. Just endless Arizona wilderness. Fear tried to creep in. Real fear. I could die out here, dehydrated. The desert didn't care about intentions, but something Nalin had said came back. The desert teaches if you listen. I stopped trying to control this, stopped trying to force my way through. Instead, I looked, really looked. The vegetation, it was sparse, but not random. Certain plants grew in lines. Following underground water, I traced those lines with my eyes. They converged to the west. I followed. An hour later, I found it, a seep, water trickling from between rocks, barely more than dampness, but enough. I scraped out a small depression, let it fill, drank, better. Night fell fast. Temperature dropped. I needed shelter. Fire would be good, but I had no way to make one. So shelter alone, I found an overhang deep enough to block wind. I gathered dried grass, piled it, burrowed in. It wasn't comfortable, but it was better than open air. Sleep came in fits. I was cold, sore, hungry, but alive. The second day was harder. My body was weakening. No food, minimal water, constant movement. I found the seep again at dawn, drank what I could. The land opened up more. I could see smoke in the distance, very faint. Could be the camp, could be something else. But it was a direction, a goal. I walked, wristed, walked more. My thoughts started to drift, not good. Dehydration playing with my mind. At one point, I swore I saw Anna, standing on a ridge, watching me. I blinked. She was gone. Just the heat, just exhaustion. Keep moving. By afternoon, I recognized something. A distinctive rock formation, 3 pillars. I'd seen it from a distance since when we rode out. That meant I was close, maybe 5 miles from camp. But I pushed on, step after step, the way I felt. The smoke was closer, definitely campfire smoke. I could smell it now. As the sun was setting, I crested a rise, saw the camp below, the cluster of dwellings. People moving, normal life. I'd made it. I stumbled down the slope. People saw me, started calling out. Yokai appeared, face unreadable. I stopped in front of him, swaying, barely standing. 2 days, I said, voice rough. I'm back. He looked me over. Sunburned, filthy, exhausted. Then he nodded. Once. You listened, he said, that's all. No congratulations. No warmth, but acknowledgement. Nalin pushed through the crowd. She looked at me, relief flooding her face. Then she was there, arm around my waist, supporting me. Come, she said. You need water, food, rest. She led me to our shelter, sat me down, brought water. I drank slowly. She brought food. Dried meat, cornmeal cakes. I ate. Small bites. I was worried. Thought I wouldn't make it. Thought you might give up. Walk back to your ranch instead, crossed my mind. Mile 30 or so. She smiled, relieved. But you didn't. No, made a promise. To you, to your father, to myself. I looked at her. I don't break promises anymore. Lost that luxury when I broke the one to Anna. Expression softened. You can't carry that forever, maybe not. But I can carry it today and tomorrow until it gets lighter. She took my hand, squeezed gently. Then I'll help you carry it. That night, I slept in the shelter. Real sleep, deep, dreamless. When I woke, sun was high. I'd slept almost 16 hours. Nalin was outside. Talking with other women, she saw me emerge, smiled. He lives, she said. Barely. Yokai wants to see you. Of course he does. I found him near the horse kraal. He was checking hooves. Practical work. He looked up as I approached. You look better. Feel like I got trampled, but alive. He set down the hoof he'd been examining. You did well. Better than expected. Thanks, I think. He studied me for a long moment. I was hard on you. Deliberate, that. I needed to see how you handled difficulty, frustration, fear. Those things reveal character. And what did they reveal? That you're stubborn, that you don't quit easily, that you pay attention when it matters. He paused. That maybe you're worthy of my sister. Coming from him, that was significant. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. The real test starts now. What do you mean? Surviving the desert for 2 days is one thing. Living with us, learning our ways, become family, that's harder. That takes longer. He gestured at the camp. You'll need to learn language, customs, how to hunt our way, track our way, think our way. Some of it will feel wrong, uncomfortable. Your instinct will be to resist, I understand. Do you? Because every white man who's tried to live with us eventually leaves. They say they want to learn, but what they mean is they want us to become like them. I'm not asking you to change. Good, because we won't. He turned back to the horse. Nalin will teach you. Listen to her. Respect her knowledge. She's better at this. More patient, Evelyn Fletcher, yes. Hurt her, and test or no test, I'll feed you to the coyotes. Understood. He almost smiled. Almost. The days that followed fell into rhythm. Mornings, Nalin taught me language. Apache's complex, tonal, contextual. I struggled, but I tried. She was patient, correcting pronunciation, explaining nuances. You sound like you're chewing rocks, she said, after one particularly bad attempt. That's encouraging, but you're improving. Last week you sounded like dying rocks. Her sense of humor was dry, subtle. I was learning to appreciate it. Afternoons I worked with the men, learning to track, to read sign, to move quietly through brush, to understand animal behavior. It was humbling. Skills I thought I had were crude. Obvious. They taught me refinement, patience. Evenings I helped around camp, hauling water, repairing shelters. Learning to work hide, practical skills, community work, and nights I spent with Nalin, talking, learning each other, building something that resembled friendship, maybe more, too soon to tell. One evening about 2 weeks after the desert test, we sat by our fire. The camp was quiet. Most people had gone. Can I ask you something? Nalin said, do you regret this? Saying yes? Tempered. I considered that, honestly. Some days are harder than others. This is a bit about my life to look like. Is that regret? No, just observation. I poked at the fire. I regret losing Anna and Emma. I regret not being there. I regret 3 years of half-living. But this? Us? I don't regret it. Why not? Because for the first time since the fire, I feel like I'm moving forward, not just existing, actually living. She was quiet for a moment. I feel that too. Maybe I'm not cursed, not unlucky, just someone who survived something terrible and gets to decide what comes next. You do get to decide, so do you. She looked at me, firelight reflecting in her eyes. So what do we decide? Where do we go from here? Good question. I don't know. But I think we figure it out together. Together. She tested the word, like she was trying it on. I like that. She moved closer. Not touching, but near. Sharing warmth, sharing space, sharing something that was starting to feel like trust. Samuel? Yes, thank you for staying, for trying, for not running when it got hard. You're welcome. We sat in comfortable silence, the fire crackling, the night sounds of the desert around us, and for the first time in longer than I could remember, I felt something besides grief. I felt hope. The next morning, everything changed. I woke to shouting. Urgent voices, people running. I emerged from the shelter to chaos. Riders coming fast from the east. 5 of them, yokai was already mounted. Other warriors grabbing weapons, women gathering children, moving them to safety. Takan appeared, moving slower than he should. The illness was progressing, but his voice was still strong. Everyone stay calm. Let me talk to them first. The riders came into camp, stopped near the central fire. They were white men, armed, rough-looking, the kind hired for muscle, not conversation. Leading them was someone I recognized, Wade Corrigan, the land company representative who'd been trying to buy my ranch for 2 years. He saw me. His eyes widened. Then he smiled. Not friendly, calculating. Well, Fletcher, heard you'd gone native, didn't believe it? I didn't respond, just watched. Corrigan looked at Takan. I'm here representing the Arizona Territorial Land Development Company. We have legal claim to the water rights in this area. You're squatting on company property. This is our land, Takan said. We've been here for generations, maybe, but you don't have papers. We do. He pulled out a folded document, waved it. Government survey, legal deed. This entire valley belongs to us now. You have 6 days to clear out. Silence. Heavy. Dangerous. Yokai's hand went to his knife. Takan raised a hand. Takan said, Then you'll be removed by force if necessary. Corrigan looked around the camp, counting people, assessing strength. Or, he said, turning back to Khan, we make a deal. What deal? You have something I want. I have something you need. He gestured at me. Fletcher's ranch, prime land, good water, access to the main road. If he signs it over to my company, we forget about this valley, let you stay. My blood went cold. You want my ranch in exchange for not evicting them. Exactly. Business. Everyone wins, except me. You married into this band. Their problem is your problem now. Unless you'd rather see them scattered, starving, maybe worse. He let that hang. 6 days, Fletcher. Think about it. We'll be back at sunset on the 6th day for your answer. He turned his horse. They rode out, fast, kicking up dust. Leaving silence behind, I stood there, mind racing. This was the play. This was why Corrigan had been so persistent about buying my ranch. Not because he wanted the property, because he wanted leverage. Takan looked at me, tired, sick, worried. You don't have to do this, he said quietly. Yes, I do. Your ranch is your livelihood, your home, everything you built, and your family now. Family doesn't abandon family. Nalin appeared at my side. She'd heard everything. There has to be another way, she said. If there is, we have 6 days to find it. I looked at Takan. Call a council. Tonight. We need to figure this out. Together. Slowly. As people dispersed, the weight of it settled. I'd come here to escape loneliness, to find purpose, to start living again. Now I might lose everything, to protect people I barely knew. But as I looked at Nalin, at Yokai, at Takan struggling to stay standing, at the children playing near the creek, at the community that had accepted me despite everything, I realized something. This was worth fighting for. Not because I had to, because I wanted to. The council gathered as the sun set. Not just the elders, everyone. This decision affected the entire band. Shared burden, shared voice. We sat in a circle around the central fire, maybe 30 people. The children had been sent to sleep. This was adult conversation.
Hard choices.
No easy answers. Takan spoke first, in Apache. Then English for my Bennett. Overheard Carricher's land for our safety. We need to decide what we ask of him, if we ask anything at all. An older woman spoke. Her name was Desba. She'd been kind to me during my language lessons. We cannot ask a man to give up everything. That's not family. That's exploitation. Murmurs of agreement. Another voice, a younger warrior named Chada. But if he doesn't give it up, they'll come with more men, guns, force us out anyway. At least this way we stay. Stay as what? Yokai cut in. As people living under Corrigan's mercy, he gives today, takes tomorrow, takes men work. He looked at me. No offense, Fletcher. Taken. You're right. I stood. All eyes turned to me. I need to explain something about Corrigan, about why he wants my ranch specifically. I took the breath. My property sits on the main water source for this entire region. 3 springs feed into a creek that runs through my land. That creek continues south, onto your territory. Everything you use for drinking, washing, watering animals, it starts on my property. Understanding dawned on several faces. If Corrigan owns my ranch, he controls the water. He can cut it off, divert it, charge you for access. You'd be dependent on him for survival. So giving him the ranch doesn't save us, Nalin said quietly. Just changes how he destroys us, exactly. Takan closed his eyes. The illness was weighing on him. This stress wasn't helping. Then we have no good options. We fight and likely lose. We leave and scatter. We surrender the ranch and die, slowly. There might be another way, I said. Everyone looked at me. What way? Yokai asked. Skeptical. We prove Corrigan's claim is fraudulent. How? Those papers he showed. The legal deed. Government survey. I'd bet money they're forged or obtained through corrupt officials. The territorial government is chaos right now. Records are messy. Easy to manipulate if you know the right people to bribe. Maria spoke up. She'd been sitting quietly near the edge of the circle. Samuel is right. I've seen this before. Land companies hire lawyers who forge documents, file claims on occupied territory. By the time anyone challenges it legally, the original occupants are also we get a lawyer, Chita said. Fight him in court? That takes time, Desba pointed out. Months, maybe years. We have 6 days. Then we don't fight him in court, I said. We prove the documents are fake, publicly, in a way he can't deny. Yokai leaned forward. How? The Territorial Land Office keeps original survey records in Tucson. If we can get there, compare Corrigan's papers to the originals. We might find discrepancies, proof of forgery. Tucson is 4 days' ride, Takan said. We don't have 4 days. I can do it in 3 if I push hard. Alone, I know the trails, I'm fast, and if Corrigan sends men after you, good question. Then I'll need to be faster. Nalin stood abruptly. This is insane. You're talking about riding into Tucson, a white town, where they don't exactly welcome Apache connections, where Corrigan probably has friends. Allies, people who'll help him stop you. You have a better idea? Yes. We leave. Tonight. Move deeper into the mountains, find new territory, and abandon everything you've built here? Your water source? Your gardens? Your sacred sites? She didn't answer. Nalin, I said more gently. Running just delays the problem. Corrigan wants this land. He'll keep pushing, keep taking, until there's nowhere left to run out on Unda. So you risk your life instead? It's not just my life, it's all of ours. I looked around the circle. I'm part of this family now. That means your fight is my fight, and I'm not good at running anymore. Silence. Then Yokai spoke. If you go to Tucson, you don't go alone. You can't come. A white man and an Apache riding together into a territorial town? That's asking for trouble. Not me. He gestured to Maria. Maria's eyebrows rose. Me? You're Mexican. You speak English and Spanish. You know how to navigate white towns without drawing attention, and you can help Fletcher if things go wrong. Maria looked at me. He's not wrong, Mio. You'll need someone who understands how to talk to officials, how to bribe clerks if necessary, how to move through that world. Maria, I can't ask you to risk this. You're not asking, I'm volunteering. She stood, brushed off her skirt. Besides, someone needs to keep you from doing something stupid. Despite everything, people smiled. Small, brief, but real. Takan looked at both of us. If you do this, if you go, you need to understand the stakes. Corrigan will know what you're doing the moment you start asking questions. He'll try to stop you, maybe violently, And if you fail, if you can't prove the forgery, we're back where we started. Except now Corrigan knows we're willing to fight. He'll come harder. Faster? I understand. Tan studied me for a long moment, then nodded. Then you have my blessing and my gratitude. He looked at Yokai. Prepare supplies. Horses, they leave at dawn. The council dispersed. People went to their shelters. Worried, uncertain, but not hopeless. Not yet. Nalin grabbed my arm, pulled me away from the fire. Toward our shelter, she was angry. I could see it in the set of her shoulders, the tightness in her jaw. You should have talked to me first, she said once we were alone. There wasn't time. There's always time to talk to your wife before you volunteer to ride into danger. Wife, she'd never used that word before. Not directly. You're right. I'm sorry. That seemed to deflate her anger. Slightly. I just got you 2 weeks ago. We're barely starting to know each other, and now you're leaving. Maybe not coming back. I'll come back. You don't know that. No, but I believe it. I stepped closer. Nalin, I spent 3 years being afraid. Afraid to live. Afraid to try. Afraid to care about anything, because losing hurt too much. I'm done being afraid. This isn't about fear. It's about being smart. Cautious. Maybe. But sometimes caution is just fear wearing a respectable coat. She looked up at me, those dark eyes searching. I don't want to lose someone else. I know. The fire took people I loved. I can't do that again. Then help me prepare. Make sure I have the best chance possible. She was quiet for a long moment, then nodded. All right, but you listen to everything I tell you. No cowboy heroics. No stupid risks. Deal. We spent the rest of the night preparing. Nalin packed supplies, dried meat, cornmeal, water skins. She checked every item twice, making sure nothing was forgotten. She also gave me something unexpected, a small leather pouch. Inside was a mixture of herbs. For pain, she explained. If you get hurt, mix this with water. Drink it. It'll help. Thank you. And this. She handed me a knife. That's beautiful work. Bone handle. Sharp blade. It was my mother's. She carried it always. For protection. For utility. Now I want you to have it. Nalin, I can't take that you can. You will. Because you need to come back. And this will remind you why. I took the knife. Slipped it into my belt. I'll guard it with my life. Guard your life with it. She stepped close. Put her hand on my chest. Over my heart. You feel that? That's what I need you to protect. Not the ranch. Not the land. You. The man who chose to stay when everyone else left. Before I could respond, she kissed me. Quick, soft, gentle. Then she pulled back. Cheeks flushed. That's so you remember what you're coming back to. I couldn't speak. Just nodded. Just lay side by side. Hands touching. Drawing comfort from proximity. When dawn came, it felt too soon. Maria was already awake. She'd packed her own supplies. Dressed practically. Ready to ride. You look terrible, she said when she saw me. Didn't sleep, neither did she, I'd guess. She nodded toward Nalin, who was checking my horse's tack for the third time. She's worried. She has reason to be. So do you. This is dangerous, Samuel. More dangerous than the desert test. More dangerous than anything you've done. I know. And you're doing it anyway. Yes, she smiled. Sad but proud. Anna would have done the same thing. She was stubborn like that, too. We mounted up. The whole camp gathered to see us off. Takan approached, moving slowly. The illness was progressing faster now. I could see it. Ride safe, he said. Come back successful. I will. He gripped my arm, surprising strength in those fingers. You've become a good son, Samuel Fletcher. Better than I expected. Thank you. Yokai came next. He handed me a rifle. Good quality. Well maintained. I'll bring it back. Bring yourself back. The rifle I can replace. Almost a smile. Progress. Progress. Nalin was last. She handed me the reins to my horse. Her fingers lingered on mine. 3 days there. 3 days back. I'll count everyone. I'll count them, too. And Samuel. Yes? Don't be a hero. Be smart. Come home. I promise. We rode out as the sun cleared the horizon. East toward Tucson. Toward answers. Toward danger. The first day passed without incident. We pushed hard, stopped only to water the horses, ate in the saddle, made good time. Maria was quiet mostly, conserving energy, but as evening approached and we made camp, she spoke. You really love her, don't you? The question caught me off guard. Nalin? Who else? Did I love her? We'd known each other 2 weeks, barely past strangers, but I don't know if it's love yet, but it could be. Given time, that's more honest than most would admit. She poured water into a pot, started preparing simple meal, Anna. Loved you completely, no hesitation, no doubt. It was beautiful to watch, I know, but it also means you don't trust easy love anymore. You're waiting for the catch. The cost. She was right. Maybe Nalin is the same way. She's waiting for you to leave, to prove everyone right, that she's not worth staying for. Scott, I'm not going to leave. Then show her. Not with words, with actions. Come back from this. Prove you meant the promise you made. The second was harder. The terrain got rougher. We had to detour around areas where Corrigan's men might spot us. That added hours. But we made it to Tucson by late afternoon on the third day. The town was bigger than I remembered, growing fat up. Streets crowded with wagons. People. Noise. We went straight to the Territorial Land Office, a small building near the courthouse. Maria did the talking. I stayed back, trying not to draw attention. We need to see survey records, she told the clerk, a thin man with ink-stained fingers. For the valley region south of here, township markers 42 through 48, what's your business with those record property dispute? We need to verify boundary lines. The clerk looked suspicious but not hostile. That'll cost you. Records access fee, $5. Highway robbery, but we paid. He disappeared into a back room, dusty, old. He set it on the counter. You can review it here. Not allowed to take it outside this office. We pored over the records, page after page of survey notes, property descriptions, boundary markers. Then I found it. The entry for the valley where Takan's band lived. According to the official record, it was listed as unclaimed territorial land. No private ownership, no company claims. But Corrigan's document had listed it as company property, legally surveyed and purchased. This is it, I whispered to Maria. The forgery. His papers don't match the official record. Can we prove it? We need a copy of this entry. Official, stamped, something we can show. Maria turned to the clerk. We need a certified copy of this page. How much? $10 more robbery, but necessary. He made the copy, applied the official seal, signed it. We paid, took the document, left quickly. Now what? Maria asked as we stepped into the street. Now we find somewhere to stay tonight. Head back at first light. You think it'll be that easy, but I'm hoping. It wasn't easy. We found a boarding house. Got a room. Maria took the bed. I took the floor. We were exhausted. Sleep should have come fast. It didn't. Someone knocked on the door around midnight. Hard, aggressive. I grabbed the rifle, moved to the door. Who is it? Tucson Sheriff. Open up. Maria and I exchanged looks. This wasn't good. I opened the door. 3 men stood there. One wore a badge. The other 2 looked like hired muscle. Same type Corrigan had brought to the camp. Samuel Fletcher, the sheriff asked. Yes, you're under arrest. For what? Horse theft. Complaint filed this afternoon. Says you stole a paint mare from a ranch outside town. The paint mare. The one I'd been chasing when I crossed into Apache territory. This was Corrigan's move. I own that horse. You got papers proving ownership? Of course I didn't. No, but the man who filed the complaint is lying. He's trying to stop me from getting back to my land. That's a matter for the judge. You can explain it to him. In 3 days when he's back in town. 3 days. Exactly the amount of time we didn't have. I need to leave tonight. This is urgent. Should have thought of that before you stole a horse. The muscle moved in, grabbed my arms. Maria stepped forward. This is wrong. You know this is wrong. Ma'am, stay out of it unless you want to join him in a cell. They took me to the jail, a small building, 2 cells. They put me in one, took my rifle, my knife, everything. The sheriff left. The muscle stayed, guarding, making sure I didn't escape. I sat on the hard bench that passed for a bed, mind racing. This was the trap. Corrigan had anticipated this move, had men watching the land office, saw us go in, filed false charges, used corrupt officials to hold me. By the time I got out, the week would be over. Corrigan would have his answer. The band would be forced to choose, leave or fight. Hours passed. I couldn't sleep, couldn't think clearly. Just paced the small cell like a caged animal. Then I heard it, voices outside, arguing, One was Maria. The other I didn't recognize. The door opened. Maria came in. Behind her was a tall man, maybe 60, well-dressed, lawyer by the look of him. "Mr. Fletcher," the man said. "My name is Thomas Garrett. I'm an attorney. Mrs. Santos has retained my services." I looked at Maria. "How?" "I sold my mother's necklace. The one I swore I'd never part with. Got enough to hire him for one night's work." "Maria, you didn't have to do that." "Yes, I did. Now shut up and let the lawyer work." Garrett pulled out papers. "I've filed an emergency writ of habeas corpus, arguing that the charges are false and malicious, that you're being held to prevent you from protecting your legal property rights. Will it work? It should, but it'll take time. Maybe tomorrow afternoon before a judge sees it. Tomorrow afternoon, still too late. Is there any faster way?" "Not legal ones." He looked at me carefully. "However, if someone were to post bail, you could be released immediately. Pending trial. How much? For horse theft?" "Probably $50. I didn't have $50. Neither did Maria. That's why she'd sold the necklace, just to afford the lawyer." "I don't have that kind of money." "I know. That's why Mrs. Santos and I have been discussing alternatives." He pulled out another document. "Your ranch. According to county records, it's valued at approximately $800. If you were to sign a temporary lien, using the property as collateral, I could arrange bail through a bonding company. A lien? Temporary. Once you're cleared of charges, the lien dissolves. Your property returns to full ownership, and if I'm found guilty, then the lien holder can claim the property to satisfy the bail amount. It was a risk, but what choice did I have? How long to arrange it? I have a bonding agent waiting outside. He's already reviewed the property records. If you sign now, you could be out within the hour." I looked at Maria. She nodded. "Do it, Mio. It's the only way." I signed. True to his word, Garrett had me out in 45 minutes. The bail was posted. The charges still stood. For now, we collected our horses, rode out of Tucson in the dark, pushing hard. We had maybe 2 days to get back, warned the band, used a certified document to challenge Corrigan if we made it in time. The ride back was brutal. We barely stopped, switched horses at a way station, paid extra for speed. Maria was struggling. She wasn't young. "I'm slowing you down," she said, as we paused to water the horses. "We're in this together. No, you go ahead. Ride hard. I'll follow. Catch up, Maria. I'm not leaving you. Samuel, listen to me. If you don't get back in time, none of this matters. The document, the bail, my necklace, all wasted." She was right, but the thought of leaving her alone on the trail. "I'll be fine," she insisted. "I've ridden these paths before. I know where to rest, where to get water. I know you are. Then go. Ride like the devil's chasing you." "Because he is." I hesitated, then nodded. "I'll send someone back for you. Soon as I reach camp, I'll be waiting." I mounted up, looked back at her. This woman who'd stayed when everyone else left, who'd sold her most precious possession to save me, who'd become family. "Thank you, Maria, for everything. Thank your wife when you see her. She's the one you're racing for." I rode hard, fast, pushing my horse to the edge of endurance, through the night, into the next day. No stops except to water briefly. I reached the valley as the sun was setting on the 6th day, but something was wrong. Smoke. Too much smoke. Not cooking fires. Something bigger. I pushed the horse hard, crested the ridge, looked down at the camp. Chaos. Corrigan's men were there, more than before, maybe 20 riders. People were gathered in the center. Children crying, women holding them, men standing defensive but outnumbered. Corrigan himself sat on his horse, talking to Takon. I couldn't hear the words, but I could see the posture. Ultimatum being delivered. Loud, I rode down fast. Loud, drawing attention. Everyone turned. Corrigan's men reached for weapons. The Apache tensed. I pulled up hard. My horse, skidding, breathing hard, covered in dust and sweat. "Fletcher," Corrigan said, surprised. "I heard you were sitting in a Tucson jail. Bail. Wonderful thing." I dismounted, legs shaky from days of riding, but I forced myself to stand straight. "Strong, I have something you need to see." I pulled out the certified document, unfolded it, held it up. Official Territorial Land Office record, showing this valley as unclaimed land. Your deed is a forgery. Corrigan's face went hard. That's a lie. It's certified, stamped, signed by the territorial clerk. You can dispute it in court if you want, but right now you have no legal claim to this land. Silence. His men shifted, uncertain. You think one piece of paper changes anything? Corrigan's voice shook with rage. It changes everything. You're trespassing now. Leave. Takan stepped forward, weak but steady. Corrigan, your claim is false. Leave our land. Corrigan stared at me. Long, hard. Then at his men. We're leaving, but this isn't finished, Fletcher. Not by a long shot. He wheeled his horse. His men followed. They rode out fast, angry, defeated but not destroyed. The moment they disappeared over the ridge, I nearly collapsed. Nalin was there, catching me, supporting me. You made it, she said, grief and tears mixing in her voice. Barely. We saved each other. She helped me to our shelter, sat me down, brought water, food. I could barely eat. Exhaustion was crushing. Maria, Nalin asked, 2 hours behind me, maybe 3. She needs help. Can someone ride out? Yokai already left. He saw you come in alone. Figured she needed help. Smart. I lay back, closed my eyes. Is it over? Nalin asked quietly. For now, Corrigan won't give up months, maybe more. Enough to figure out permanent solutions. And the bail, the lien on your ranch? I'll deal with it. Go back for the trial, clear my name, get the lien removed. She took my hand. We'll deal with it. Together. I opened my, up at her, looked at her, together. I liked the sound of that. She smiled genuine, full. Me too. That night the camp celebrated. Small, quiet, but real. They'd survived another threat. Another attempt to destroy them. And I realized something. I wasn't the same man who chased a horse across a boundary line 6 weeks ago. That man had been hollow, empty, running from grief. This man was full, connected, fighting for something bigger than himself. I was home, not the ranch, not the land. Here, with these people, with Nalin, home. 2 weeks later, we had another council. Takan was worse. The illness was winning. Everyone knew it. On finalizing plans before he couldn't. I'm dying, he said. No preamble, just fact. Maybe 1 month, maybe less. Grief rippled through the circle, but no one interrupted. When I die, Yokai leads. He's ready, he's strong, he'll protect you. Yokai nodded, face tight with emotion. But Yokai will need help. Support, someone who understands both worlds, Apache and white. Takan looked at me. Samuel Fletcher, you came here as trespasser, became family, proved yourself in ways I didn't expect. Would you stay, even after I'm gone? Help this band survive. Everyone was watching, waiting. I looked at Nalin. She squeezed my hand. He met my eyes. No hostility now. I looked at respect. I looked at the faces around the circle. People I'd lived with, worked with, fought for. Yes, I said. I'll stay, as long as I'm wanted. You're wanted, Takan said. Your family, he paused, gathering strength. Your ranch, it connects our land to the outside world. Trade routes, supply lines, water rights. It's valuable, too valuable for one man to hold alone. What are you suggesting? Merge it. Your ranch becomes part of our communal land. We all share responsibility, all benefit, all protect it together. I understood what he was offering. Apache tolerating, not Apache tolerating white man. Partnership. Equality. I agree. Relief washed over Takan's face. Then it settled. When spring comes with permanent structures, one community, 2 worlds becoming one. The council ended. People drifted away, hopeful, tired, grieving but not defeated. Nalin and I walked to the creek. The same place we'd stood when I first said yes, when I'd seen her face, when everything began. Are you sure about this? She asked. Giving up your ranch as separate property? It was all you had left of your old life. My old life is gone. Anna and Emma are gone. That version of me is gone. I turned to face her. This is my life now, you. This band. Building something new, it won't be easy. Nothing worth doing is. She smiled. When did you become wise? About 10 minutes ago. Don't expect it to last, she laughed. Real, joyful. I love you, she said suddenly. The words hung in the air. First time either of us had said them. I know it's fast, she continued. I know we barely know each other. But I feel it every day, growing stronger. I pulled her close. I love you too. Didn't think I could. After Anna, But you proved me wrong. We kissed, long, deep, full of promise. When we pulled apart, the stars were out. Brilliant, endless. What happens? Now, she asked, now we survive whatever comes next. Together, always together. We stood there, by the creek, under the stars. Two broken people who'd found each other by accident, who'd chosen each other by design, who'd built something beautiful from grief and hope. It wasn't the life I'd planned, it was better. 6 months later, I stood in the same spot, but everything had changed. Takan had died peacefully in his sleep 2 months after that council. The whole band mourned. His life, his leadership, his legacy. Yokai stepped into leadership naturally, strong, fair, wise beyond his years. And true to Takan's wishes, he leaned on me, asked advice, shared burden. We'd become brothers, real brothers. The ranch was being transformed. We'd built new structures, adobe and wood, mixing Apache techniques with rancher practicality, space for both communities. Separate but connected, Maria had returned safely. Yokai had found her on the trail, brought her back. She'd cried when she saw the camp safe. Everyone alive. Her sacrifice worth it. The bail situation resolved. The horse theft charges dropped when I presented evidence. The lien removed. The ranch fully mine again. Briefly, before I signed it over to communal ownership, Corrigan had disappeared. Rumor was the territorial government investigated his land claims, found widespread fraud. He fled before they could arrest him. Justice. Delayed but real. And Nalin. Nalin was everything. Partner. Wife. Friend. Teacher. She taught me Apache language, customs, ways of thinking. I taught her about ranching, business, navigating white bureaucracy. Together we built a bridge. Not just between our lives, between our peoples. Now she stood beside me, hand on her belly, slight swell just beginning to show, new life, growing. Ours. What are you thinking? She asked. That I'm grateful for what? Everything. The horse that ran away. Your father's impossible offer. The choice I made, all of it. She leaned against me. I'm grateful too, for a man who saw past scars, whose stage when staying was hard, who chose love over loneliness. We should get back. People are waiting. Today was special. We were dedicating the new community center, the building that sat exactly on the boundary between ranch land and Apache land, symbol of unity. As we walked back, children ran past, laughing, playing mixed, integrated, normal, the future, better than the past, full of hope. I thought about Anna sometimes, Emma, the life I'd lost. The grief never fully disappeared, just became part of me, like Nalin's scar. Something that shaped me but didn't define me. They'd want this for me, this happiness, this purpose. I was sure of it. The ceremony was simple. Yokai spoke. I spoke. Community members from both sides spoke. Then we opened the doors, let people in, to share food. Stories, dreams. As the sun set, I found myself outside, watching the sky turn orange and pink purple. Nalin joined me, slipped her hand into mine. Happy, she asked. More than I ever thought possible. Good, because this is just the beginning. She was right. This was just the beginning of a new community, a new way of living, a new chapter, and I was ready for all of it. Together with the woman who'd saved me, the band who'd accepted me, the life I'd found when I stopped running, Maria appeared at my side. She'd been watching the celebration from the edge, always the observer, never quite in the center. You did good, Mijo, she said. We did good. You sold your mother's necklace for me, and I'd do it again. She smiled. But there was sadness in it. What's wrong? I asked. Nothing. Everything. I'm just thinking about how much has changed, how much we've all changed. She looked at the children playing, the mixed community. Your Anna would be proud. What you've built here, who you've become. My throat tightened. You think so? I know so. She always said you had a good heart, just needed the right reason to use it. She squeezed my arm. Nalin is that reason. These people that reason. Don't forget that. I won't. She walked away, back to her place at the edge, watch protecting. Always, Yokai found me next. He handed me a cup, some kind of Apache drink. Strong, bitter, to survival. I countered. We drank, Yokai said after a moment. When Father first suggested this, bringing you into our family. I thought he was crazy, and now I think he was the smartest man I've ever known. He looked at me, direct, honest. You saved us, Samuel. Not just from Corrigan, from despair, from believing we couldn't survive in this changing world. We saved each other. Yes, we did. He raised his cup. 2 brothers, blood or choice, doesn't matter. We drank again. The night deepened. Stars came out. Brilliant. Endless. Nalin found me eventually. We walked to our favorite spot, the creek, where everything had begun. Tired? She asked. Exhausted, happy. Scared. Hopeful, all of it. She laughed. That's called living. Then I'm finally doing it right. We sat. She leaned against me, my arm around her, her hand on her belly. Her hand on her belly, growing, becoming. What should we name the baby? She asked softly. I don't know. Something that honors both worlds. If it's a girl, maybe Anna. After your first wife, I went still. You'd do that? She was part of your story. I'm not erasing that. I'm building on it. Tears burn my eyes. And if it's a boy, Takan, after my father, perfect. We sat in silence. The creek babbling, the night alive around us. Samuel? Yes? Are you happy? I thought about that. Really thought. Barely surviving. Now I was full. Connected. Living. Yes, I said, more than I ever thought possible. Good. Because this is forever now. You know that, right? No running, no leaving, no giving up when it gets hard. Never. She turned, looked up at me. Those dark eyes that had first challenged me, that had seen through my walls, that had chosen me when no one else would. I love you, Nalin Fletcher. I love you, Nalin Fletcher. She smiled that, declaiming, Nalin Fletcher. I like it. Me too. We kissed, long, deep, full of promise. The future stretched before us, unknown, challenging, but not alone, never alone again. Home, finally, truly, the completely. Home, the end.